What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode here at John Goes Off-Road, and today we're starting off the new year with going over my truck again. So today, of course, we're going to be going over suspension, tires, wheels, and how I got them to fit and all that stuff. I've done it once before, but I kind of want to hit some areas where, of course, the rig's changed up a lot since then, so I definitely want to kind of go over some things. So kind of going over here, starting off, of course, we're going to go into suspension. We ultimately went with the 2.5 extended travel kit, and that's from Icon. So Icon supplies, of course, a 2.5 extended travel kit where, of course, you'll get the reservoir and then also your shock, and it's been great. So I do actually have those packed in up front with the 700-pound springs, which kind of helped me when lifting it. I only have 1.25 inches of thread exposed, so that kind of gave me the 3-inch lift up front, picking that up, and of course giving me the clearance that I needed when having to fit these 35s. Of course, definitely a little bit of a heavier tire from what I've seen on the market, but they look the greatest on a truck. So super massive, definitely tank preparing and looking. So of course, when it comes to rims, I do have the SCS F5s at a 16x8 -25 offset. So as far as when kind of going over the offset, it's helped me out a lot when getting these wheels to throw out and kind of not rubbing up too much inside the wheel wells and things like that. So I don't really have the biggest rubbing problem when I'm driving normally when I have it as a daily, but sometimes I do get it, of course, on the trail, depending on how far up they go into the wheel well, which for the most part really hasn't really bothered me or anything like that. So far so good. And of course, these tires being 35s, they're sized at 315 75/16. And that's kind of, I guess it's named a 35, but when you really get into it, it's like a 34 point something. So I guess by name they're a 35, but they're still technically a 34. But again, they just look really good on the truck. If I can get a really good shot of it in a sense. Sorry guys, I'm kind of moving this with my hand. But when coming to the rear, I actually have the stage 1 set of rear shocks. They've held up really well. I had them on my old truck and they're still doing fine. Unfortunately, they're not the greatest for travel up in the rear, but I get a decent amount of travel to the point where I don't really run into too many problems, so that's okay. I don't really mind. So for the time being, those guys will stay. Now, when going into leaf pack, I have the Icon RXT leaf pack. And leaf packs, I think, are very important because depending on what route you want to go, how tall you want to get your truck to get, it's very important because a lot of us just kind of look at it. I started off with an add-a-leaf, which was okay, but it doesn't really get you the lift you want. So when going into it, getting the leaf pack to get basically, in a sense, what I'm trying to say here is get a full leaf pack from the start. Don't kind of nickel and dime the build and get yourself the add-a-leafs and stuff like that, or blocks plus add-a-leafs, which are great. I mean, they'll get you the lift and stuff like that, but for ride quality, definitely getting the full leaf packs is the best way to go. So again, I went with the RXT Icon leaf pack, and before I used to have it at a medium set height, but now with the camper that I have on there that I'm running, it definitely sagged the truck a little bit. So what's great about the Icon RXT leaf pack is that you can actually add a leaf inside of it and make it a heavy pack. So now after I did that, of course, one day just spent my morning on the leaf pack, and when doing that, I was able to pretty much just get the truck to lift back up, and now it kind of sits, I'm gonna get a little out, at more of an even height as far as the truck goes. So definitely very important because you don't want your truck to kind of sag a little bit when you got a lot of stuff. Now, will I have to beef it up? Yes, maybe with some plans that I have in the future, I might have to actually beef this up even more, as the plans that I have will actually include me gaining some weight up in the rear. So definitely something that I am looking forward to. But for the time being, the RXT leaf pack is holding it down. So A lot of people always ask what kind of racks do I have, and I actually have the front runner, front and rear racks. The front, of course, equipped with a front runner bar. I have a ARB awning on there and a Plano gun case that I have on there as well. The rear, I don't have anything just yet. Do I have plans for it? Yes. I kind of don't want to say anything just yet because the build will change here and there. So as we move on, those are the racks that I have on the vehicle right now. I also have a Dobinson snorkel that I actually made a video on. Definitely has helped on the trails as far as keeping my truck out of the dust kind of breathing areas. Before, of course, my intake used to be clogged up after every trail, and when I'd bring it out, of course, I'd kind of clean it and stuff like that, and have to replace it a little prematurely. So now with the snorkel, of course, it's a lot better, and it's a better sealed system. So now I can, get into water if I really wanted to. There's not very many puddles out here in Southern California, but if I ever had to, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Kind of going back into the kind of suspension area and also the tire area. A lot of people ask, do you rub? Yes, I do rub, mostly on the trails, but not really as far as when daily driving, going into dips, things like that. I don't really rub. Reason why is, yes, I did do a cab mount chop. Very important. I'm gonna kind of zoom in here just a little bit if you guys can see. I can't really see because the sun's in my eyes, but if you guys can see, I'm gonna try and get you closer. This is the cab mount chop. Now, of course, when it's stock, it's brought out a little bit more. Big shout out to Welds Taco that is out in basically San Diego, which is kind of nowhere near for where I'm at, but I heard about his work, and I definitely hit him up. And then when I got there, I was like, hey dude, I need 35s to fit this thing. Can you go a little bit further back? And it's helped me so much. So really quality work from that guy. If you're not from the area but you really want a good cab mount chop, that's the guy to go to. Definitely really helped me fit these 35s. So another thing, of course, that you have to do is this little pinch weld here. This guy is kind of tucking like this, and what you'll essentially have to do is cut it into little shreds, which is why we have those little boxy type little metal pieces that you chop, and then you just bend them in, and then they kind of start fitting it for you. As you guys can see, when I'm on the trail, it does bang up right here, which has kind of bent this little metal piece. I guess it's morphed into it, so it's molded itself to the tires and the whole setup. I also do have, I'm gonna shift over here, a piece of the bumper kind of cut right here, just so that when I go into dips, it doesn't rub right there. I also trimmed a little piece of the splash shield itself. Same thing on the other side, but you kind of just cut this area so that it won't cause a rubbing noise. Was it causing a problem? No, but it was causing a little bit of rubbing noise, which kind of freaks people out sometimes, and I don't want to freak people out, so it was okay. I chopped it off, and then that was pretty much it. So that's how I pretty much fit my wheels and tires inside there, which isn't really too extreme or crazy, just really plastics and a really good CMC or BMC. So that's where that goes. Also have, as far as armor goes, I don't really have too much armor. I know a lot of people like to go full skids and stuff like that. I haven't gone full skids. I just have the factory skid up front, and I have these pretty beefy RRW sliders here that have done me well. These have the kick out. Some people say you don't need it. Some people say you should have it. Just really all depends if you want them or not. But these guys took some shots, and they would actually push me out, and that's of course their basic goal, is to push you out from rocks when you're on the crazier rocks. So definitely helpful. As you guys can see, they were pretty banged up, so that was definitely useful. So I would probably recommend it, but it's up to you guys. When it comes to the rear, of course, when I was talking about the camper, I do have an ARE V series, that's V as in Victor series camper that was purchased from Fuller Campers out in Fullerton. If you have a camper dealer near you, try and see if they are an ARE, if they are an ARE retailer. And just to kind of go over it here, I do have a full glass window with the outdoorsman doors that you can actually pop up and they'll prop open. I also have a little video where I kind of went over it. It was white at the time, but I actually did color match it. So that helped out a lot. On this side, I actually have a kind of like a little toolbox inside. Again, I went over it on a different video, but toolbox, of course, is on this side. And of course, this one is color matched because you don't want anybody to look inside of what you may have in there. And I'll keep, I'll keep miscellaneous things in there. And that's like camping stuff, waters, yada, yada. Depending on what we're doing, I'll pack up with different things. So as far as that's pretty much it. This is just a quick review to kind of get you guys going as far as 2020 rolls in. So hopefully I kind of covered a little bit more. If you guys want more info, of course, I do have my first original video of how I just had it set up with no camper and having to deal with weight and all that stuff. So of course, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, like it, comment it, subscribe if you like the page. I will be coming out with more and grabbing a little more traction. So we're going to be going a lot more. We're going to be going over a lot more stuff. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you very much.